Professor Bill Dutton, you've just had a competition for outstanding outreach projects. Why do you do this?
Well, because we've worked on Voices from Oxford together, that we think outreach or public engagement is one of the most important issues that universities have to face. So much at university is focused on a small number of students, a tutorial or a small class of 20 people, and many of the things we do at a university can be accessible by the broader public, by hundreds, if not thousands of people around the world that are interested in a particular topic. So we're very interested in how universities can improve the way they reach out to the public and engaging the public in university activities. And we thought, well, because it's important, are there new ideas? Are there new ways to do outreach that are particularly successful or innovative? And therefore we thought we should, that's why we used the Ulab project, a Ulab project as a European-funded project to try to pursue new approaches to outreach.
I think this sounds like a project which helps the general public think that Oxford University is approachable.
I think so. Well, the university is approachable, but sometimes we just don't know how to make that access possible. So I think that it's not that the university doesn't want to be accessible, but I think it's the techniques and approaches. People worry, for example, if having a camera in a classroom or having a recording of some event might undermine the quality of the event or make it less important or less special. And actually, most people, once they work with people like yourselves and so forth, realize that it's actually makes it even a more interesting event, something that more people can read, comment on, and engage with.
What is Ulab?
Well, Ulab, it stands for the universities as laboratories, I think. We have a longer name for that, but it's generally the idea of using 5 universities, our partners and Oxford University, as laboratories to look at new ideas. And in 4 areas, we looked at commercialization, how to commercialize ideas that come out of a university. We looked at entrepreneurship. Are there ways in which universities could be more entrepreneurial and in ways that are acceptable to academics? We also looked at research. We all do research. Everyone knows how to do research in universities, but there might be new ways of more effectively coordinating and research collaboration, research across departments and so forth. We were looking at new approaches there. And then outreach was our 4th area. But the Ulab project is interesting. I don't know, I mean, you could say something about our partners.
Yes, exactly. So what's interesting about this kind of laboratory approach is that we're working with universities which are very different to Oxford. So Oxford is obviously a very traditional research university, and our partners are more technical and applied in focus. So the project includes the Technical University of Madrid, the Technical University of Turin, Paris Tech, which is a really interesting combination of the Grande Écoles in France, and the Technical University of Munich as well. So we have this really interesting mix of universities with different goals and objectives, but all want to try and reach out to society in very different kinds of ways in terms of public engagement and commercialisation and sort of locating the university more closely with other aspects of society.
And of course, this is a challenge for us too, to coordinate across universities in Germany, Italy, France, the UK, so forth. So it was a real challenge. Just international collaboration was a sort of side benefit of what we were doing.
Exactly. It's very interesting working with these different countries and cultures, I think.
How did you organize the competition for outreach projects?
I think this is the most innovative aspect of our project. I mean, Rebecca, you did most of the work related to that, so why don't you explain how we use the internet to do this competition?
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So because we wanted to hold the competition across Europe and we wanted to gain the most innovative ways of thinking about public engagement, we decided to run the entire competition online, both to ensure that we got as many entries as possible from all different kinds of countries and different universities, but also so that we could use all of that information to then share that back with people. So we've now moved from a competition site to an online repository that people can search through various tags to see if they could apply good practice in other countries to their own particular context. We did the entire submission process online, so we asked people to submit 1,000-word descriptions about their projects and then add up in their websites and their PowerPoint slides and any information they had about the project. And then also write particularly about 4 criteria that in our previous research on the project we found very important. So thinking about the originality of the project, thinking about the sustainability, which is a real challenge for outreach. How do we keep things going once the initial pot of money has gone? Thinking about measures of impact to justify the importance of engagement and outreach and trying to continue investing in this area of university work. And also thinking about setting the right goals for the project in the first place, a real clarity of purpose. And so we asked for all the submissions online. We then asked the judges to judge entirely online, marking them on these criteria. And we also did an online public vote, which meant that we distributed information about all of the projects and got people to vote on their favourite one, which then raised the profile again of the public engagement activities that were going on in all of these different universities.
What are some of the winning ideas or projects?
Well, maybe you could talk about we had 3 winners, right?
Yes, we did. Do you want me to talk
Yes,
about
please. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's probably worth saying that we had over 100 entries from all across Europe, and they ranged so much in purpose and objectives and size, and we're really excited about that, about all the different activities that were going on. And our winners reflect the diversity of the practices that are going on. So one of our winners, we just had 3 winners. There was no kind of first, second or third. They were equal winners. The first one was Active Science, which is an initiative from Italy where universities got together and supported young people in schools to connect using the internet to experts all over Italy on particular science topics of interest. They would then do the research with the experts online and come up with a kind of debate that they would then hold to decide upon their own views about the initiative. And then the universities would track how their views on different science topics would change, which was really exciting. And this has now been rolled out from a couple of schools all the way across Italy. So we felt that was a really interesting idea that had applications for many countries in Europe as well. And then the second one was Sounds of Barcelona. So obviously this one's from Spain. And this is where they asked young people to record the sounds of their cities and upload them onto a website, which was freely available for people to download these sounds, and then create their own remixes of sounds and musical compilations that would then be uploaded again and then shared with more people. So this was a really exciting music repository of all these interesting sounds that people could use and remix and create with. And so that was a particular reason why the judges liked this entry. And the third winner was very different again. This is from the UK, from London, which is called the Centre of the Cell, which is the first science education centre which is located within a biomedical research laboratory at Queen Mary Westfield. And so this is a kind of really exciting laboratory that students from all around the country can come to and do all sorts of things, stimulate cures for cancer, look at cells, manipulate different things, and go away with a much more exciting feeling about science. And so, again, we felt this was another way of engaging people with university work in quite a creative way.
I mean, what I found interesting about all 3 of the winners, and I think it goes for the others as well, is that they could all, their own ideas that somebody could take to any university.
Absolutely.
and do as well. Although the Center of the Cells is something that might be something that anyone in the world could use that single facility. So it creates the idea that maybe other universities could do projects on other topics, and this sharing resources across universities would be great. But it might be worth mentioning 3 runners-up, sort of that also got honorable mention, or for the project because they were as interesting. And one was called Maths Busking. And buskers are those who when you're walking down a street and somebody's juggling or playing a violin or something, they're maybe to collect money or just to entertain. What's interesting about it is that they're trying to address an audience that is not really coming to an event to hear anything about math, but they're simply walking down the street, and the idea is that they interest people in coming over to hear something about mathematics. Wow. So it was maths busking, and they train people to be able to go out on like a market street or something and entertain people and then teach them something about mathematics. Brilliant idea. And that was another idea that was absolutely fascinating is called staging files. This was one of my favorites because I was so impressed with what they have done. You know how there's historical records in every town, every nation, every location, but nobody looks at these old files of debates, court proceedings, so forth. Well, in Bremen, they took these files of a particular sensitive period, and basically they figure out how to do a stage production of people reading the text of these files. So they actually bring historical files to life in a staged play, so to speak. And so all of a sudden, anybody for example, in Oxford, there's so many good historical archives of town meetings or meetings when major decisions were made about the church or censorship or anything else. They could actually act through these and have people in the town read the parts of different actors in the staging files. And then the other one was Seeking Perfection, which dealt with a very, very difficult topic because it's about human enhancement. So if an athlete could take a human enhancing drug or a performance enhancing drug, or a person could make themselves look better or perform better, is that ethical? What are the ethics of human enhancement? Should we be continually enhancing our bodies and our minds to be perfect? And it's hard to do because it's hard to discuss because people take a very clear ethical position right away. But they, again, created a drama class and acted through some of the issues about seeking perfection. And they worked with disabled and people as well as children and so forth and younger people to do this so that they could engage younger people in actually the kinds of issues that are involved in thinking about human enhancement. So all six were, and there are many more that we couldn't give an award to, but they're all interesting efforts at outreach.
Voices from Oxford has tried to reach out to the public. Is there anything you've learned that would help us to succeed?
Well, first of all, it reinforced my view that it's really important that we focus on public access. So I think Voices from Oxford is exactly in the right place, working to try to make Oxford more accessible to the world. And the other is that when you looked at some of these very successful projects, they've been going on for years, and they've been working through various iterations of what they're doing. So it takes time for any of these projects to figure out exactly how to deliver this and to get visible, to understand exactly how to do it in the best possible way. And the other thing that came out, which was, I was somewhat surprised by, but everyone in the room, even these people associated with Innovative Project, they said that probably too much emphasis might be placed on innovation per se. That it's not necessarily having a new way of doing outreach, but doing it well. In other words, Voices from Oxford, the idea of having video of people, of ideas and of individuals is not necessarily new. Many people do that, but the key of, I think, Voices from Oxford what we learned from that is trying to figure out how to do that well and in a way that you can sustain over a long period of time and perfect. And so it's like too much, doing something innovative is only part of the problem. And also this idea that doing something that any other university can take, and an idea, I mean, most of these are just not productive, they're an idea of how to staging files. Once people hear the idea of staging files, they can imagine how they could do that at their own university or their own town. So, and Voices from Oxford likewise.
I really hope young people from all over the world will gain enormous confidence by watching this program. You've done this project across Europe. Perhaps you can try this project in East Asia.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's a good idea?
Be a very good idea, because it does open the question: are there other things being done in other parts of the world that Europe could learn from? But given the number of really interesting projects we found in Europe, I'm sure that it would be we'd find other even more interesting ideas if we looked at a broader. There's no reason. I mean, the internet is global, so there's so I think that's a very good idea.
Especially that part of the world, internet is great. Okay, thank you so much, Professor Dutton and Dr. Aynan.
Very well.
And especially, I'm really grateful to your encouraging closing remarks about Voices from Oxford. Okay, thank you so much. It has been very, very exciting, fascinating talks.